Hello and welcome back to Lord of Heroes News on Nyris Gaming. We have our upcoming 4th anniversary details. Gonna be a lot to go through. There's a lot of awesome stuff and a lot of typical stuff. So let's get into it. So first things first, we're going to start with these because free stuff. These codes have been around for a couple days, so this first one, Happy 4th Birthday, you will want to do immediately. Once you hear this, if you haven't already because it ends tomorrow, this will give you 10 featured relic summon tickets for the relic banners. 4004th will give you 500 link stones. This one ends on the 25th. And thanks to Lords, we'll give you 500 link stones, 100 battle skip tickets, and 1 mystic soul stone, ending on April 30th, so you have a lot more time on that one. And based on the calendar they put out, this update is coming on the 21st for most of the stuff. The actual anniversary is on the 26th, and I don't remember seeing much as far as what happened specifically that day, but we shall get into it if we notice it. As per the usual, we have a bunch of balance changes. This time, Earth Vanessa, Fire Rashad, Dark Mei Ling, Earth Alev, and Fire Mikhail. Earth Vanessa's 2 is going to get an additional 300% more damage against water elemental enemies. And her burst is going to grant herself resolve for 3 turns, which will increase her damage to enemies by 100% and her damage taken by 35%, but reduce ally damage taken by 35%, except for Guardian Heroes and allies under the effects of resolve. Fire Rashad is next. He's going to be one of those 0.33% on one of the 2 upcoming summon banners. I don't remember which one specifically, but in light of that, he can now get aptitudes and relics. I do not believe they state what his relics are or what they do yet. And the main change he is getting on his burst, it's getting extra 50% more damage for every debuff on the target. I think that's the most hefty debuff boost in damage on an ability in the game. Usually they're around 15% extra. This will only need 4 debuffs on the enemy to hit maximum damage. And it also deals another 200% more damage if the target speed is decreased. Only thing with this is really low attack, and he's not really a damaging character. He's very much utility, even if that utility is very good, but you don't run him for damage usually. Dark Mei Ling is next. She is going to be getting aptitudes because she is going on the Link Summon banner, so that'll be a bit easier of a way to get someone. I'm hoping that if we aren't doing reruns anymore, at least everyone that has been done ends up on the Link Summon banner, so you can focus who you want, and not just the 0.33 competing with others. Remains to be seen, because it seems very random. I suppose not random, it's the ones that were paid only that are going on to Link Summon, and the ones that were featured summon banners are getting relegated to the 0.3%. Dark Mei Ling is a very good health-based cleric, although she started paling in comparison as soon as Sifrid was dropped, and now almost every cleric is health-based shielders. I get the feeling they were of the opinion she paled in comparison to the new Dark Vanessa, so they have given her some buffs. Her 2 now has maximum health-based damage scaling, and her 3, which by default would only remove 1 effect and go up by 1 at a certain level, now has a base of 2, so at that certain level, it will now remove 3 debuffs from all allies, and it also grants Focus Defense Light to all allies for 2 turns, which will reduce light elemental enemy damage by 30%, and her burst also now has maximum health-based damage based on her max health. Earth Alev, one of the contract summon heroes in Earth Guardian, got quite a bunch of different things added. Her 2 now has enemy max health-based damage, which is a little weird because, again, she's a Guardian, and I'm fairly certain she has around the same or worse attack than Bram. However, it's also getting health-based damage based on her health. And now this is a bit weird because attack strength increases based on the user's health. So I'm wondering if that means current health. Because every time there's been what I think is a typo in the past, it hasn't been. And every time you have something like this, it always says maximum health, but this one doesn't. So I'm curious if she gets weaker the lower her health is, which would be really stupid. Her burst used to give a 2-turn regen buff to all allies after attacking all enemies, and that would go up to 3 turns on level 2. Now that level 2 is 10% damage, and the 3 turns is just by default. It also gives her that same resolve buff as Earth Vanessa, so they're really pushing the resolve on Earth Guardians with these changes. And now her Divine and Refined relics are getting a bit of a change. Like with her Refined relic before, it said it would taunt enemies, which meant provoke, but that's just not the wordage. This is a actual case where it was a typo, but it was really garbage because It only capped at 25% to taunt an enemy, which is absurdly low and basically not worth running. Now it starts at a default of 20% to inflict provoke on a target for 1 turn upon attacking, which is all 3 of her abilities, 2 of which are AoE. And that provocation chance caps at 50% now. And additionally, she has a base 15% chance to counterattack upon receiving damage, giving another chance to provoke them. And that counterattack chance caps at 50% as well. So she's not as good as Firefram in the continual provocation department, but she can be an alternative now. Her Divine Relic, upon receiving damage, 50% chance to increase the user's action gauge by 20%, now has a base 60% and gives her that same counterattack chance as her Refined Relic. The action gauge increase chance will cap at the same amount as the previous one, but you don't have to get to tier 6 for that. Now you only have to get to tier 3, and it will get another action gauge gain of 20% at tier 6 now, and the counterattack will cap at 50% like the previous one. Fire Mikhail, who is our go-to AoE enemy max health based striker for fire, so he's getting his relics and aptitudes as well, and they do not mention what his relics are going to be, so we'll have to see on Thursday. Before, his one would give him stacking crit damage that would end at the end of a wave. This would give him 10% per stack, capping at 25% per stack at certain levels. Now the base is 25% per stack, so this will cap at 40% per stack, stacking up to 5 times. So a hefty DPS increase. And his 2 would do a random amount of extra damage between 25% and 100% after the initial hit. Now the base is 100 to 200%, and there are increases in the levels as well. So another hefty increase in damage. And it also guaranteedly triggers Flurry, which will fire off as 1, giving him a stack of crit damage. Just everything about him now is going to hurt more, which will help because he has one of the lower attacks of most strikers, only around 12 to 1300 at level 60 second ascension. Commander aptitude skills are getting completely reworked. Before, they would reduce the action gauge of the opposite element for every 6 turns taken. That is completely gone now. Now they will deal 3 to 5% extra damage based on the skill level that ignores defense for every element that's the same as them of ally on the field when they attack. This is going to be really good for Buryu if you have him, giving him even more pierce damage. He's going to be a monster. Someone like Fire Bianca as well. I believe she does single target enemy max health base damage. And upcoming, the entire court of Avalon is going to be playable as Light Rowan is going to be introduced. He is going to be a light striker. Along with him is coming our first variant of a War of the Tyrants hero, Fire Andal. They are both going to be featured summon banners, so yes, there are going to be 2. But that is not all for the new heroes. Earth Rashad is going to be arriving. He is going to be recruited via the T events that they keep doing. And then Lin Light, who has a very pretty color palette. I like it a lot, but they're bringing another thing back that I really don't like. Rowan's banner is going to run from March 21st to May 1st, so around 40-ish days, so at least it's longer than a month. Other heroes on this banner are going to be Fire Rashad, Fire Lin, who is one of the best snipers in the game, and Earth Andal. Fire Andal is going to be the same time period, and on his banner is going to be Vanessa Earth, Light Siegfried, and Dark Buryu. Really good cleric and really good commander. And now that I'm looking at this, I see no mention of Fire Mikhail. So they added his relics, but did not make him summonable. How are you supposed to get his new aptitudes if you cannot actually recruit him? That doesn't make any sense. Because if we look here, even relic-wise, you can only get Earth and Dark Mikhail. That's a bit weird. And as per the usual, with the same time period, there's going to be featured relic banners for both of the new featured summon characters. There are ways to get these featured relic tickets now, like that coupon I mentioned earlier, if you get that in by tomorrow. And oh boy, here we go with this again. Not only do we have 2 featured banners going at the same time on top of the new ones that we just got, but we have another Invite Friends event. This one is a lot better than the previous ones for certain reasons, but I'm getting really tired of this, because I do not have anyone to invite unless I put my friend code in the comments on Thursday, which I probably will. If you are curious about the game and want to get some free stuff, such as characters, you can use that. However, if you have no one to invite, the only way to do this and get any of this is to repeatedly make alternate accounts and act as your own new friends, sadly. This runs from March 21st, Thursday after maintenance, to June 21st, so you have a full 3 months to get this done, thankfully. And the new players will have to create their accounts after the event start date, and returning players have to have not logged in for at least 1 month prior to the event start date. You as a player will have a unique code, and you can send this to new players to input on their end. To receive rewards for both you and the person that invited you, you're going to have to reach Lord level 5 as a new player or battle 10 times in Alliance raids as a returning player. I don't specifically remember how hard it is to reach Lord level 5. As far as I know, that is not terribly difficult, so this might go faster than previous years. And once you've completed that, you will receive 121 donation points. And you don't have to spend them or anything, it's just a reward track as you accumulate them. And there are only 5 rewards at those price points. So you only have to do 5 alt accounts or invite 5 friends, and this is where Light Lin is tied to. However, you get Light Lin after just 1 friend, you get 3 Mystic Soul Stones at 2 and 4 friends, and then at 3 and 5 friends you get a Friendly Knight's Pledge, which allows you to recruit one of either Light Lin, Water Lyrae, and Water Johan, which were the reward heroes for the previous 2 times they did this. You can either get all 3 of these characters or get aptitudes for 2 of them, so that is a nice change. An Alliance Daily Check-in event is going to be going on from March 21st to May 1st. This is how you're going to recruit Earth Rashad doing this tea event. You will click on the mini version of him on the main page, and you will need to be in an Alliance to do this. Logging in, you will be getting extra little drops of these teas, and you can use them to advance his favorability tracker here. And the higher you get this up, the higher chance when you click on this offer to join, he will join you as recruited. The more Alliance members that log in each day, the more tea you get. There is going to be a 4th anniversary side story from March 21st to April 22nd, so about a month. There's going to be a 4th anniversary check-in from March 21st to June 21st. You'll be getting 50 link stones starting on day 1 and alternating every other day, and then a total of 1 of each elemental soulstone and a mystic soulstone, and then at the end 10 featured relic summon tickets. We are going to be getting leaderboards so you can see just how crazy powerful everyone is in just general contexts and in raid contexts. The Names of Legends relic summon banner will be getting Ikatestol, Fire Bianca, and Earth Fram's relics. And as stated before, Dark Mei Ling will be added to Link Summon. Lyrae is getting her Avalon Night Edition outfit. Here is the default artwork and the limited. This is the first new outfit we've gotten in around 2 or 3 months, I believe. I don't know what was up with that. This is going to be available from March 21st to May 21st. There is going to be a 4th anniversary mission pass starting on March 21st, going through June 24th. Good long while to do this. You will have a lot of random normal things to do daily, mission-wise, to go through this. It's effectively just a battle pass. And there is a regular one and a premium one. And of course, the regular one has around 300 link stones, and the premium one has a lot more. As well as a lot of special hero relic chests, which are chests that will give you a relic for one of those 3 heroes from the Invite Friends campaign. So Water, Johan, and Lyrae, and Light Lin. And you will be getting a ton more of those on the premium track, but of course that is $38. Only reason I mentioned this one is because from March 21st to March 31st, there is a free 50 link stones, 5 featured relic banner tickets, and 50 elixirs of insight. Now this one, from March 21st to April 22nd, for $8, you get 10 each of featured summon tickets, contract summon tickets, featured relic summon tickets, and link summon tickets. Link summon tickets I don't think have been a thing at all so far. Those contract summon tickets are the only way you can do the contract banners anymore, and so far they've pretty much only been paid items. So this is a cheap way to get a few of those alongside a bunch of other ones. From the 21st of March to April 1st, there is a set of special packages. You can get another 10 contract summon tickets and 200 link stones for $4. There are several tiers of this, though, that get progressively more expensive, even if they do have more stuff in them. And then there's this one. from March 21st to June 26th. $38 you buy this. And I'm not certain if you have to buy each version of this, because there's 5 of them, and you have to be at each level of the donation mission for inviting friends to even have these available. But we had the whole reason we shifted completely over to summon banners was to get away from the paid-only direct buy a hero packages, because no one was buying them. And now, for about the same price, you can directly buy some heroes. Woo. Obviously, this is probably not going to be a continual thing, but the system that we moved away from, that no one was using, they just shoved it in here again. Because you get the Friendly Knights pledges 3 more times if you buy 1, 3, and 5. We are getting a PO hunt from March 25th to April 4th. And as this always goes, you only get 50 link stones per week, so 1 pull a week. You can get some alchemy tickets, decent bit of gold, good bit of elixirs of insight. This one's going to be fire focused, so a fire soul stone and fire runes. As per the usual, there will be alchemy banners for each of the new heroes from March 21st to May 1st. Rowan Light Striker, Andal Fire Commander, Rashad Ur Sniper, and Lin Light Striker. Now, after all of that is done, we can finally start getting into all of the 4 new heroes. Probably going to be the largest news video I've ever done on here. Although I suppose that is fitting, given this is an anniversary event, so it should be large. Although, woe to you, free-to-play player. This is gonna be brutal. First up is Light Rowan, a new Light Striker, alongside Light Lin as a Striker. We have 2 more semi-free-to-play options for Light Strikers. Light Olivia being the only one currently. Light Suzaku being the other. We don't even know if he'll ever return. And another being Light Fram, who so far has only been a 0.3% chance on a banner since she released. Here are his level 1 and level 70. He has a lot of health and defense for a striker, and kind of low attack, which is a bit weird. Around 1300, but that's at level 70. Feels like definitely you'll need ascensions. His 1, very simple. Attack selected enemy, fills his action gauge by 15%. His 2, 3 turn cooldown at the beginning. Attacks all enemies, 50% chance to grant him action ready for 3 turns. And if that does not trigger, increases the attack of him by 30%, stacking up to 3 times, ending after a wave of enemies. So a total of 90%. Wonder if that will go up even higher. And his burst attacks all enemies, deals up to 100% more damage when there are fewer targets. Crit hit damage of this attack increases by 300% if he's under the effects of action ready, and 100% if not. So he's very crit reliant and does not have enemy max health damage, but he does have a concentrating AoE. With the fewer targets, massive spike in crit damage might counteract the fact that he doesn't have enemy max health damage. He also gets even more crit damage with his skill, and increased damage against dark enemies with his other skill. His basic relic increases his resistance weirdly. His refined increases damage dealt against dark elemental enemies by 35%, and then his divine is 50% chance to grant immunity to the user for 1 turn upon attacking. Next up is Fire Andal, who is another fire commander. One right after the other after Fire Bianca. His level 1 and level 70 stats. He gets pretty decent attack and alright health and really good defense. His 1, thankfully, like Earth Andal, is AoE. So Andal is still the only AoE 1 character in the game. Attacks all enemies, fills the action gauge of all allies by 10%, and fire allies by another 10%, and the attack strength increases based on his speed. His 2, a low cooldown of 3 turns, grants revenge to the selected ally and the user for 1 turn. So that'll be nice for things like Fire Mikhail and Light Fram. Kind of in the same vein as Light Cessair. Increases attack strength of all fire elemental allies for 1 turn. Additionally grants taking the lead to the user. So in the same vein as Fire Bianca, they are very similar in a lot of ways. This stacks up to 10 times and expires after a wave of enemies. Free cost burst attacks the selected enemy. Deals 35% more damage for every buff on the user to a max of 210. Additionally grants morale speed to all allies for 2 turns. Allies granted morale speed gain 5 more speed for every stack of taking the lead on the user. So this gets to 50 total. And this burst increases in damage based on the user's speed. So I can see him being very helpful in a team of speed strikers, Water Walter, and especially given the fire motif here, Fire Astrid. because she is nothing but speed. He gets speed for his stat skill and damage against earth enemies for his elemental skill. His commander skill increases crit hit damage of all fire elemental allies by 15% in the alliance raid. His basic relic increases his health. His refined has a 50% chance to fill the action gauge of the user by 25% upon receiving damage, so action ready effectively. And his divine increases his attack by 9% for every fire elemental ally in the field. I just noticed that they typoed this, so it's introducing hero, Earth Richard. Whoops. Oh my word, they even did it here. They did it in the title, they did it in the hashtag, they did it in the button back there. It's correct here, and it's correct here. Weird. He is an Earth sniper. They seem to exclusively do Earth heroes for the T events. Here are his level 1 and level 70s. Has quite a hefty health pool, decent attack, especially for a sniper. Alright defense. His 1 attacks a selected enemy, 60% chance to reduce defense of the target for 2 turns. 2 is a 4-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, 70% chance to reduce speed of each target respectively for 2 turns, and additionally fills the action gauges of all allies by 30%. So I am curious to see if this gets down to a 2-turn cooldown and this gets up to 40 or 45% action gauge boost. His burst costs 4, attacks all enemies, 70% chance to inflict wither on each target respectively for 2 turns, and it deals 35% more damage for every debuff on the target, up to a max of 350 at 10 debuffs. His stat skill increases his health, and his elemental skill is water elemental enemy damage. He does not have relics, because he is not a summon character. He's a T event character. So who knows how long it'll take to get those. And lastly, Light Lin, a striker. Here are her 1 in 70, pretty good health for a striker, alright defense and decent to good attack. Below average speed by the look of it, sub 100. Her 1 attacks a selected enemy and heals her based on the damage dealt. Real simple. Her 2, 5-turn cooldown, fills the action gauge of the user by 50%. Hopefully that gets to 100. And additionally increases the attack of the user by 30%, stacking up to 3 times, expiring after a wave of enemies. Her burst costs 3, and attacks the selected enemy, dealing up to 5 times additional damage based on target's maximum health. So she is very straightforward, almost in kind of a underwhelming way. It almost feels like she's supposed to be the light version of Dark Astrid. Purely single target, has stacking attack buff, and has a single target max health based burst. Only thing is her 1, she doesn't get leech from it, it just auto heals her, and she doesn't have a source of berserk. I would imagine her attack does not get anywhere near the 2000 that Dark Astrid gets as well. But she should be pretty dang good, especially against the Alliance Raid Dark enemy. She gets extra crit damage from her stat skill, and she gets extra damage against Dark Elemental enemies for her Elemental skill. Not to mention that if you already have the other characters from the Invite event, you could easily, if you get those other tickets, get aptitudes for her, which will increase her attack even further. Her default relic increases her speed. Her refined gives a 50% chance to fill the action gauge of the user by 25% upon attacking. Bit of pseudo speed there. And her divine increases her damage dealt against dark elemental enemies by a base of 35%. So I can see her doing really well. She's just very straightforward and not terribly interesting, although she does have a good color palette. And at long last, with a hefty 46 minutes of recording for a new segment, we are done with this episode of Lord of Heroes news. I'm highly anticipating it. I'm just not excited for more summon banners and more alt accounts for friends to invite. But I like what we're getting, and it's nice that the entire main court of the Nation of Avalon is playable, finally. But that is going to do it for us today. Let me know what you think in the comments, what you're most anticipating. Like if you liked, and subscribe to see more, like when we cover what their level ups are on Thursday. And I will see y'all in the next one.